let's keep my coughing. Those noises should be between us.
You want Luke to not use them?
No, I'm kidding. I mean, not ones that are really disgusting. The one he used last time was perfectly appropriate.
Let Vank listen. If he doesn't like it, he can cut it.
But that was fine. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Hey, I'm Vank.
And I'm Jaya.
And this is the Reality Hate. Girl, we're on episode 5 of our show.
That's right.
We just finished episode 10 of the reality smash hit Real Housewives of SLC. Girl, let's get into this. Let's recap. This whole episode was everyone living in an alternate universe.
I think you're absolutely right, because none of them want to take the blame for anything, and it's caused by everyone. It's everyone else's fault. Meredith Marks, my fave, Meredith. And it seems as if her relationship is blossoming, right?
I mean, that blossoming relationship that was not a relationship like last episode.
Last episode it was not, and now it's like
everything's totally fine.
It's fine. I guess it's fine. Like, her relationship is fine.
Yes, it's fine.
I mean, it's fine until it's not fine.
They love each other. That cheesy moment with the rose. I mean,
until the season's over and all it is headlines. Meredith Marks, divorce. And then now we have to wait for another season, and that's going to be boring if there is another season.
I mean, really. So we have that happen, and then it moves on because there's not much there aside from the fact that, like, her relationship is fine.
Everything's totally fine.
And then we get to Jen, who's like depressed and sad. Jen Shaw.
Well, hey, depressed and sad? Jen Shaw? Get out of here.
He doesn't always look like this.
Jen Shaw isn't in control of her motor skills or what comes out of her mouth.
Apparently not. Yeah, nope.
She's living in the Matrix.
That's right. She is.
I never meant to call you the devil, but you made me do it.
Exactly. Everything that happened at the party was not her fault, and her husband is not talking to her. Thanks to Whitney and Heather, apparently. It's their fault. They destroyed everything and messed it all up.
That he is not even coming, like, okay, and when is he at the university he teaches?
I don't know. Where is he staying? I don't know. But he hasn't come home in 4 days, and he hasn't spoken to her in 4 days. He never says where he is.
He's probably staying at the Hojo, the local Howard Johnson.
Or maybe he stayed at the golf club. Maybe he stayed at the Boomers or whatever it was.
It's Dave and Buster's.
Oh, Dave and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's.
I didn't know Dave and Buster's had a hotel, but I guess they do.
Little house.
They've got it all.
Except for with better food.
And then we jump to Whitney, who is also confused on what happened because she also doesn't think she did anything wrong.
But she was also very blackout drunk.
She was very drunk.
She's on the phone call with Mary explaining the situation.
Yes.
And if Mary is telling you that was an inappropriate time to say something, oh, you are in a bad situation.
I mean, Mary Cosby.
I'm Bill Cosby.
Mary Cosby.
I'm Bill Cosby.
I was thinking that, like, what, did Mary Cosby say something that wasn't insane?
Right?
Wait a minute.
Actually was the voice of reason.
For literally a third of a second.
For the small time she was on screen, she was the voice of reason. Well, for 1 second, because then the rest of the 2 minutes that she was on screen, she was an awful person.
I think Bravo has contractually said to Mary Cosby, we're just...
You might become a friend. We opened to her and her hoarding. And she's like trying on clothing, and she has her maid, who is her cousin, who has to wear gloves and a
It's
hairnet,
you know, I
which
was
I think is
talking.
awful. That's your family, and you
I
have
was
her in
talking.
gloves and a hairnet, and you treat her. She said, I don't know her. We're not friends.
You
Your
know,
family?
she's treating her like an indentured servant. Like
I
she's
mean,
a
it's
servant.
awful. It's so horrible. When you watch, you're just like, that's your
But
cousin?
this is a woman, but then it's even worse because this is a woman that says she has multiple homes. Nobody's allowed to live in them. And then on top of that, you say she runs a church. Like, you could be the big Mary Cosby. The reason why she is a troubling individual, period, is that she represents all that is wrong with for-profit churches, which all churches are for-profit, but those mega million, like the ones out in that area, Wyoming, Utah, where like Joel Osteen has a mega house that he could help the poor, but you know,
He's got 16 houses too. Like,
exactly. And she is one of many.
she's helping her cousin by employing her in her house. She makes people wear booties on their feet when they come in.
Wait, hold on. But I have to say about the booties, because we're both Asian.
Yes, you take your shoes off, but
you take your shoes off at an Asian house.
Right.
I would make one exception. If I was throwing a huge party in my home, like that had like 50 to 75 plus people in a house that does not exist, I would let them wear their shoes in the area in which the party is taking place. But then I would make sure to clean the floor up like spotlessly. But
really, I don't ever clean my floor.
I
I'm just kidding, of course.
Like, that's funny because I clean it with my tongue. Why am I weird?
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
I clean it with my tongue and bleach.
Ooh, I love. Well, that's how.
That's why my teeth are so white.
That's why I don't have COVID. I have to put bleach in the. January 20th can't come soon enough.
We get to Mary Cosby.
I'm Bill Cosby.
She also talks about how she's going to buy a place just to store her clothes. Isn't that something? That's what she says. I'm going to buy a place just to store my clothes. Isn't that something? I mean, no, you sound like a terrible person.
Everything that comes out of her mouth is bad, except for that one thing that came out of her mouth for that 1 second.
Bad timing. You shouldn't have done it there. But the rest of it was horrible. So that's how they kind of end it, that she's like buying a place to store her clothing. And like, basically she's amazed at herself, you know? And like,
that's the last we ever see from Mary Cosby for the whole episode.
And then that's it. She's gone.
So back to Whitney Rose.
She was being honest, but she had terrible timing, right? So
yeah.
So she has terrible timing, but she was being honest. And also she's upset that the women stole her moment. Like they took it from her. Like, how could they jump in? She just wanted to have this moment with Jen one-on-one. And the reason Jen lost her temper is because all the women jumped in and spoke for her. I don't know what she's thinking. When you are telling Jen something that she's not going to like, she is going to explode. Why would you do that? So whether the girls were there or not, she was going to lose her shit, right? She was.
She doesn't like being told anything that makes her feel any way.
Unless it's, you look great in that outfit and I love your debut at this party.
And here's the problem. Jen Shah, her outfits never look great.
No.
I said what I said.
It's the truth.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting here wearing this.
I like that.
It says raw.
Whoa. Are you raw?
I was feeling a little bit like a house husband without a husband and a house. Jen was wrong because Jen doesn't know how to
not lose her temper.
control. Yeah, she has serious anger issues, and
Aside from being a narcissist.
she's a narcissist with anger issues, which is like a terribly bad combination.
Horrible combination.
That's when you start blaming everybody else for the stuff you do.
Exactly.
Get
I mean,
Jen shot. Get it together.
she took none of the blame for what happened at the party. And in the end, won. Everybody ended up apologizing to her, right?
Oh gosh, maybe I have been counting her out as a master manipulator. Because
She is a master manipulator. She kept going until people apologized, which we'll get to because they all end up apologizing. Heather, you're nice. You're really nice. And we're so happy you have a successful business.
Congratulations on Beauty Lab.
I'm so proud of you.
Nobody can. What I'm noticing from this show is they change their behavior every other scene. Yeah. It's really hard to get a grip of who is this person. And then when they are the same people all the time, it's like Heather Gay, who I love, but
yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I love her, but maybe she'll be the Sonia Morgan. Maybe next season she'll come, if there is a next season. She'll come back and she'll be crazy or something.
Yeah, I thought it would be more interesting with like the conversation about trying to reconcile her family's distance from the Mormon church. It would have been more interesting to actually know. I was excited to learn about this kind of in this kind of world, something that I'm so far removed from. I don't know anything about the Mormon culture or how it operates, especially in a place like Utah, which is, I believe, where it was all where he read the hat there.
Yes.
John Smith. Was that his name?
John Smith, I believe.
John Snow or John Smith.
John Snow. It's definitely John.
It's definitely John Snow. And then it revealed all the truth. I mean, I wish I had hats like that.
But, you don't? I have a hat that does.
I don't have hats like that. I have hats that I do celebrate quite often.
Oh, that hat is revealing.
I mean, as revealing as Sarah, the downgraded housewife.
Let's talk about that quickly.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about it. So apparently, from
it's Whitney's friend. Whitney's friend,
and I love Whitney. I just hope she's not, a seditionist. So Sarah, who was in episode 9, was, from what I understand, going to be a housewife, but she had some kind of questionable social media posts, and so she was downgraded. And then, thank goodness, she was downgraded to a friend of the show, because she was just at the terrorist march.
She was participating.
She was participating in tyranny, which is great. Bravo should have probably quickly edited her out. It's not like they don't have the manpower. They should have edited her out.
She was a character. She was one that said, like, oh, Whitney was like washing her hands or doing something, and she was standing on her kitchen mat, and she was like, oh, this mat's amazing. She's like, yeah, I got it for my maids.
And I'm like $25,000 sunglasses.
25,000. 25,000. 25,000.
Make it rain on them.
$25,000 sunglasses.
Make it rain.
But now we find out she's a wretched woman, and hopefully Bravo.
She won't be back on. Let's hope she's not in future seasons.
She's got to be muted.
Or future episodes. I don't want to see her in future episodes.
It's a new dawn. It's a
then
new
I
day.
might not finish watching it, but I don't think Bravo. Andy Cohen wouldn't do that.
No.
Yeah.
He's a gay, like me.
Yeah.
He's a gay in power, which is the most dangerous kind of gay. Is Andy going off? I love you.
I love you too,
We both love
Andy
you.
Cohen.
And we're brown, so don't hurt us.
Yeah. And we move on to Lisa Barlow, who says in her confessional, and Vank, what did you say about Lisa
In
Barlow's
our pre-game
confessional?
convo, I said Lisa Barlow is far more interesting in her interviews than she is on the show.
Right.
And you said
Couldn't agree with you more.
you could, yeah.
But Meredith's hair.
Oh, sorry.
So, well, I'll say it quickly, but Meredith's hair in her confessionals, she's got it like slicked back. And like, I get the look she's going for, but I don't like it. I don't like it.
She's kind of trying to do like a Sharon Stone 90s
But it's
thing.
not working. The
No.
slick hair is not working.
You have to be Sharon Stone to be Sharon Stoning it. I think a lot of people are trying to be people. Don't be Beyonce. Don't be Sharon
Beyonce.
Stone.
No Sharon Stone.
Thank
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
I mean, hey, Lisa Barlow, she wore those red boots.
And you know what? We do love Lisa Barlow because
We do love Lisa Barlow, just not those red boots. But that's
not the
okay.
big boots. But that's okay. We like Lisa Barlow.
We like Lisa Barlow. So Lisa Barlow basically in her confessional is like, yeah, Jen Shaw is all about Jen Shaw.
Not wrong.
And she's right. She said it. She's absolutely right.
Why can't they just tell this woman straight up to her face? Like, how dangerous? She is not part of the
That's
mafia.
the thing. Like Jen Shaw, Lisa Barlow is like, oh, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. Lisa Barlow, you're afraid of her.
I'm afraid of her.
You said in your confessional, Jen Shaw's all about Jen Shaw. She not only says that in the confessional, she also talks about Whitney's dancing and how she was like, she felt it was totally inappropriate, and she did her best like 6th grade dance routine or whatever it was. I forget what she said, but like she could not take it, and you could just tell she also is not a fan of Whitney. She's not a fan of Whitney.
I get it. I gotta be honest.
Lisa Barlow doesn't like many people on the show. I think from the episode we learned that Lisa Barlow really doesn't like many people. She doesn't trust anyone. She only likes Meredith. And she says, I have very little time. And so I don't want to waste it on these people who I don't trust.
If you don't, but then you don't want to waste it on the people you don't trust that you're in a cast with, then why does the audience want to waste their time with you?
So then we get to the apologies.
Oh, it is the apology tour.
Whitney. Yeah, here we go. So, Jen Shaw's throwing a big enough temper tantrum that everybody's going to bow down to Jen Shaw. And they meet at a spa to go for a soak in Utah. Now, I thought the view was gorgeous, and they were in soaking tubs in hot springs.
I mean, you have more experience about soaking tubs and hot springs than I do, honey.
Listen, I'm not a huge fan of the hot springs either. I mean, occasionally, maybe. I would never say that I'm never going to go to one, but I did have a shady experience at one.
In Machu Picchu.
In Machu Picchu. Yes, in Machu Picchu. After we came off of Machu Picchu, we were in Aguas Caliente, and we went. There were hot springs at the top. The whole city is built on steps, and so is a hot springs at the top of the steps. So we wanted to go, and I remember our hotel when we asked oh, where do we go? They were like, we have hot tubs in our hotel. You could just use our hot tubs. You don't need to go there. And we're like, oh no. We want to go to these hot springs. So we go up the stairs. We're like, we have all these pictures of us taking photos along the way before we enter the hot springs at the sign of the hot spring. So then we get into the hot spring. We go down. It's very bare. There's not much going on there. You have to shower before you go in. So we separate and go take showers. So then we go in, and it was early in the morning that we were there. And there were a lot of people in there, and we weren't paying close attention, and it was very busy in the hot springs as we're walking through.
What were they doing? What were they doing?
And it was very run down. Like it was run down. So like the pools weren't very nice, and it was really outdated. So we were like going, and we're like, oh, let's just find one that's like not very, busy and populated. So we go and we find one, and we get in, and the water is lukewarm and very cloudy, and you can like feel things as you get in. Like it's like not clean water. It feels unclean. And we're both just kind of like, ugh. And so we look around and like take a closer look at what's going on, and people are bathing, like washing their hair, scrubbing.
Hey, it's a free shower. You went into somebody else's dirty bath water.
It was disgusting. So then we get out, and we're like, okay, well, we made ourselves sit there for 20 minutes, and then
What? Like what?
Luke and I were like, we're gonna sit there for 20 minutes. We can do this. So we like sat in the like lukewarm hot spring, and then got out. And as we were exiting, you could see other people that had clearly come off Machu Picchu, had been on a long hike, finally, on the trail, coming. They want to soak their bones. You could see like they've like taken the shower, but they've taken a close look at what's going on, and so they're just kind of like.
And I'm sorry, you think this, okay, so you telling me this story makes me understand why you think this hot springs looks nice, but
It did look nice.
For
It's
you.
like going to the mud baths in Calistoga. I mean,
this is why I think you're half Indian, because that's the half of you, the non-Indian half of you is the adventurous kind. Because I'm
right.
100% non-adventurous. White people know how to have fun. This is something we noted. White people
We're also Indian and come from India. I mean, like our family comes from India. There's some things going on there that are not always the cleanest.
No, of course. That's why that's why like I would never go to a hot spring and be like, well, I'm gonna go on an adventure. It's because I am too Indian. Too Indian. No adventure needs me to get dirty.
Yeah, so we did that. And then we looked at the reviews, and they were like, do not go here.
If there was a review of what was about to happen at Spa Day, I don't think any of these three women would have gone. Let's get into that.
That's true. So we get there, and Jen is like, I'm going to get an apology. Like, my goal is to go and get an apology.
She
All I can see is like her big lips that have clearly been filled.
Wait, wait, hold on. Jen Shaw, you're telling me you think Jen Shaw has had work done?
No. I didn't mean that. Yes!
Sacre bleu!
And she's probably going to break down my door and kill me. If she watches this. If she were to ever watch it. So we get there, they go for the soak. Jen Shaw is horrified when she gets to the hot springs. They're bathtubs overlooking Utah. I think the view is beautiful. I think
The view is
beautiful. And like the water is obviously murky. So she doesn't even she gets in her slides. Like she doesn't even want to take I don't know what that's going to do for her, but she leaves her slides on to get in.
Throw her fur
Yes,
on
her.
rubbery.
Yes, she did. Basically, somebody picked this up.
Did she think production was going to pick that up?
I mean,
That's part of the joke.
She treated production like dirt while she was there. So yeah, I think she thought so.
She's a fool. And yeah, so yeah, let's get to that. Whitney was trying to explain herself again.
Heather's inserting herself. At one point, Heather goes, again, Heather trying to find a story. It was my fault. It was all my fault. Like when he's like, I didn't think I did anything wrong. I was trying to have a story, have a conversation with you. And create a story. I was trying to have a conversation with you. And then Heather goes, it was all my fault. Like in the middle of it.
TV for second season. I need something.
So then Jen says like, oh, I'm not mad at you. Like, whatever, like but my marriage is falling apart because of you, because you said this. Now my husband's not talking to me. And if I get a divorce, it's your fault. Like basically everything is her fault. And she's really angry. And then she flings water at production, and they're like, wait, why are you throwing water at us?
And
she's
again,
like,
what does she do?
If you put me in a bathtub and film me.
She blames production. She has blamed everybody.
Yes.
But the source of the problem, Jen, darling, Jen, the source of the problem is you.
Unfortunately, it's all you. Sorry. So she then storms off for a moment, and they're like, come back, Jen. And then they both decide like, okay, we just have to keep her happy because we're afraid of her. And
I'm afraid of her. And I'm watching her.
I'm afraid of her. And we're just watching, she's a nightmare. She's a nightmare. So she comes back, and Whitney and Heather are like, we're sorry. It's all our fault. We're so sorry. It's our fault. It's our fault. Your marriage is in a really bad place, and it's my fault. It's all my fault, and I'm so sorry. And oh my God, I hope it's okay. And I didn't mean to do that. I was just trying to be a true friend. And then Heather starts crying, and she's like, here's my new storyline. I'm afraid. I think I'm a true friend to you, and I feel like you're choosing Meredith and Lisa and like leaving me, and I'm just worried that you're choosing Meredith and Lisa over me. What?
But you know what I really liked?
Seven?
I like
what is happening right now.
But the reaction was so hilarious because when she said that, it was almost like everybody knew that this was just nonsensical. So
yeah.
their eyes told the story.
Yes. I mean, they basically were like, we don't know what to do. We have to apologize. I mean, it was ridiculous. Then I was like, I'm over it. So then everything's fine with those two, supposedly. Well, Jen says, like, I appreciate the apology. And like, I'm fine with Heather, but Whitney.
And she will never forget.
Yes, she forgives, but she never.
I hate when people say that. I'm like, shut up.
I know. And this is ridiculous. Like I said, like this whole thing has been blown so out of proportion. It is not like anyone said, I don't like Jen Shah. All they said was, I'm afraid of you. Like, I'm afraid of Jen Shah.
If somebody said they were afraid of me, I'd be like, good.
We move on from spa day and we go to the dinner, the double date with Lisa Barlow and Meredith. They look alike. They talk about how they're twins. And Meredith and her husband announce that they're back together and they have a new relationship and they're so in love.
Oh my God. Is it a true renewal?
It's a...
Oh... I love how all these shows are interwoven with stupidity.
They sure are. So then we have that boring dinner. I mean, here's the thing we did learn in that dinner. Lisa Barlow doesn't like anyone but Meredith.
Guess what? We know that! Is Patty Duke gonna come in and go, dun, 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 but they're cousins. They're two of a kind.
So we get past that and then we move to the interesting part, I guess, the end, which is
the rolling of the credits, and I can go to bed.
Jen and her husband. So her husband finally comes home after 4 days.
I just think it's funny what everything we're about to talk about is going to be hilarious to me because it's utter nonsense.
It's nonsense.
Talk about that.
I can't believe this is what we do. So Jen's husband comes home after 4 days of being gone at Dave and Buster's,
But he was
and
at Dave and Buster's, aka Better Food Soho House.
Better Food Soho House. And they basically are talking, and he's like, look, I'm angry at you. You drink too much, and then you fight with everyone. And it's out of control. And she's like, you know why I do that? You know why I do that? And it's because of you.
Bitch, are you for real?
So basically, here we are manipulating, again, playing the victim. It's your fault. You're gone all the time because of work.
I mean,
And
God
I need you
forbid,
here.
God forbid someone make a dime to keep this woman.
She does with her marketing business.
Well, she doesn't have a job.
Apparently she does. She has many assistants. She has many, so did Sonia Morgan. She had many assistants.
Yeah, they're called interns. Okay, you want to be on TV?
So she is like, you're gone too much. You weren't there when my dad died. I'm still not over it. I get that. I respect that. She is
Now,
mourning her father,
that
but
makes-
that is no reason to treat people the way you are like treating them. You do not get to behave that way. I understand you're sad, but
How does a husband and wife not? How does one spouse not know that they need to show up to the funeral?
I don't know.
of
I
their
would. I
spouse?
know. All right.
Like that. Oh, I mean, I'm sorry. That's almost weirder than somebody marrying their step grandfather.
Well, I don't know that it's weirder, but it's telling. I mean,
They're fighting. They're fighting. They're almost fighting to stop. What insanity in Utah?
I mean, the fact that he didn't come, I think, says a lot. And so then he's like, so she's like, it's your fault. It's your fault all this happened. So now it's not Whitney's fault, and it's not Heather's fault, and Lisa and Meredith and everybody else's fault.
It's her
It's
husband's fault.
now her husband's fault. And she is angry, so she drinks when she's angry, and it's his fault.
Bitch, are you for real?
And
So
he
which is-
feels guilty.
Yes,
I
he
think
does.
which I don't think he actually does, right? I mean,
No, not at
actions
all.
speak
Oh,
louder
he's
than words.
he's smoothing this over. He wants to look like the good guy, so he apologizes. The problem is
Yeah.
now we don't have Jen Shaw yelling at everybody. You know, she's still gonna blame everybody else because she likes to do that. But I mean, one major problem, drama. I guarantee
It'll happen.
he's not gonna be there next episode.
I don't think so. And like, here's the thing: even the episode where they were, on the snowmobiles and doing whatever, when he was talking about her, sure, he was talking about how he loved her, but like, you could tell that he's not in it. He is not fully committed.
He has sounded so scripted.
Yes. And even in this end, he was like, I love you. I'm so sorry. She threw a temper tantrum, and she's very manipulative, and she did everything she had to do to get what she wanted out of him, which was she didn't want to have to deal with the fight and take the blame. And so she projected, and she won. He gave in and was like, I'm sorry. I love you. I'm here for you. I'll work on things.
Yada yada yada. Here's the thing. Jen Shaw needs to come to reality. Hate and somebody, either it's not gonna happen and she's gonna ice herself out, or there's gonna be a come to Jesus moment and somebody's gonna lay the smack down on Jen.
I
mean,
sort of
here's
hope
the
that
thing.
somebody will, because she's such.
I mean, it could be
Sorry,
verbal.
she's a
or physical.
bitch. She's a
But I gotta
bitch.
tell you something.
Bitch, are you for real?
She needs to be verbally downgraded and know what her know that she's the one causing all the harm in her own.
Yes, she gets what she wants. She gets the response she wants, even though it's not genuine. None
No.
of those women feel that way about her. Her husband doesn't
Yeah.
feel that way about her. Everybody's doing it because they're afraid of her.
And that is definitely a nice recap of the episode. Fear of Jen Shah and everyone living in an alternative universe.
Yes.
But I guess that's what happens when you read out of a hat.
That's-
Well, I'm your host, Venk.
And I'm Jaya.
And thank you for watching The Reality Hate.
Okay. What'd you think? You killed me. Blackwater. We like it. Quenches that thirst.
So good.